Okay, debt management is the next thing we want to talk about. Why do people fall in debt? There are many reasons, but the debt equation is very simple. It is when your expenditure is more than your earnings, you're definitely going to be in debt. Now, sometimes people get into debt, maybe transfer debt, your dad owed, your mom owed, and it's transferred down to you and you have to pay it off. Sometimes people get into debt because of their lifestyle, and that's the one we want to address. I'm conscious of my audience, which is mostly young people. Please, you have to be able to curb consumerism, which is, it's not everything you need to buy. iPhone is a great phone, I can tell you, I've used it, and it's a great phone. But hey, if you cannot afford an iPhone, so be it. It does not matter. Don't be under any pressure to do the things that will put you in the red. Tomorrow we'll forget about iPhone. I mean, my iPhone 4S is like a relic if you see it now. But once upon a time, it was the best thing to ever happen. So, do what you have to do now. Don't push yourself into the brink of debt. Debt is a two-edged sword. It cuts you into two. It gives you panic attack. It makes you lose friends. And as you know, as you get older, as someone said, your friends are like a pyramid. When you're younger, there are more. As you get older, they thin out. And please don't allow your friendships or your friends to thin out because of debt. So, let me talk more about the things that pushes people into debt. Societal expectation. Oh, I have this family name and we must live up to it. That will push you into debt. Because when you're living up to whatever standard, whatever skill you've placed yourself on, most times you're going to be spending more than you earn. I've met people who say, oh no, I can't be caught in this type of dress. This is beyond me. I can't be caught in an economy in a plane. I have to fly minimum a business class or a first class. There's nothing wrong with that if you can easily afford it. In fact, those that easily afford it don't talk about it. If you notice, they hardly do talk about it because it's a given. But those that do not, that are pushing themselves into those things, they get to talk about it so that they can impress you and me. And one of the things that is said is that sometimes people try to impress those that are not even looking. So sometimes it's just pure wasted effort. Don't get into this battle with the Joneses. Don't say people at my level are doing this. This person has that. That person does not have this. It will run you into debt. And when you're in debt, there are two things. Responsible people always try to pay off their debt. Irresponsible people never almost pay their debt. They take it as it is their right to owe you. They take it as, hey, I'm owing more people than you are. How much is your own money? And it's very painful when that happens. It's the epitome of wickedness to owe and not pay. To owe when you know you cannot pay, but you deceive people into it. One of the things that does for you, without you knowing, is that it erodes your social capital. Words go around. And especially in today's age where communication is instant, the background checks that people do is instant. They just ask questions, WhatsApp, Facebook, whatsoever means, and they get the updates they need in a jiffy. So it's not like those days that you say, okay, before the word goes around, it will take a while. But then when you erode your social capital, people that you think should be there for you will not be there for you. Let's assume for whatsoever reason you get into debt. See, the people's best plans fail. And maybe you went into a business venture, or maybe you used money you were supposed to pay and things happen. Things happen to everyone and you couldn't pay. Please, one of the best ways to handle debt is to communicate. Ensure you reach out to the person you're owing first. He or she might be angry, but see, at the back of the person's mind is, at least he reached out to me. Debt management is a skill. Now, I'm not admonishing that you should have debt and then find a way to manage and be experienced in it. No, what I'm trying to say is, when that time of life comes when you are in debt, if you ever see yourself there, please try to do the following. Whatever money comes into your hands, try and use it to pay off. The people you owe always are impressed or are happy that you're making an effort. Second, always communicate. Reach out. Don't switch off. Don't change your numbers. If you have to change your numbers, things happen and people change. Make sure that those people know. Have I owed people before? Yes, I have. And it was, well, unfortunate. Maybe I should share it. It's a life story. So somebody just came up. He was a friend of a friend. And from what I know now, I wouldn't have done that. He asked me for money. Well, let me just chip this in. If a friend of a friend asks you for money, please ask your friend why he is asking you for money. Most times you're going to hear loads of stories. So he asked for the money. I gave it to him. He said he had the money in the bank. That day was a holiday. And because of that, this was some years ago, there was no internet banking and all that. So he said he was going to give it back to me. Well, that day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days passed. Till today, that next day has not reached. And you know, it cost so many things that I'm not happy to talk about here. But hey, how did I get that money? Somebody gave me that money to hold for him. In fact, when the person gave me the money, I wanted to write a contract. And the guy said, no, I trust you. I know you won't run with my money. I know you. So that money was given to me on trust. But hey, like I said in one of the videos, I misappropriated it. I gave it out thinking I was trying to salvage the situation. But all of a sudden, I came into debt because when the person needed his money, I couldn't pay back. But this is what I did. I told him what had happened, and I said, it's no fault. I mean, I take responsibility. I was paying him every money that came into my hand. I think I paid it up within a month, but he saw the effort. He saw the genuineness of how I treated the situation, and then I was communicating with him. And thankfully, he was even not happy with me that I was stressing myself. But hey, when you owe people, please stress yourself out to pay if you can.